Nigga, I'm strapped up.
Tevin, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SZN Podcast. I'm your host, Flows.
And I'm your host, Cam.
I don't even remember what episode we're on here, bro. What episode is this
54,
one?
54.
Whoa, 54. Episode 54. And boy, we've got not just one, but two special guests in the building today. You guys know if you've been following us, we've got Reuben and we've got Jides, two big MMA fans. They both decided to join us today, so we've got a lot to unpack. But let's get into the episode. Cam, what are we discussing?
First of all, welcome back, boys. Welcome back, boys. Everyone, make sure, all listeners, make sure you check us out on all the socials and streamings, on all of that. Just check our links on Instagram and Twitter. It will take you to everywhere where we are. But yeah, man, we've got two guys here who, as you know, if you're familiar with, they're heavy on the MMA. So it's only one place we can start from, really. We're going to take it back again to last week. We touched upon it, Flores, but I wanted to get Reuben and Jide's opinion on this one. Obviously, the fallout from the Jake Paul versus
Woodley's a disgrace.
Listen,
wait, pause.
It's a disgrace.
Before you start, Jides,
yeah,
Reuben, you told me that there was no way that Jake Paul was going to beat Tyron Woodley. You told me that. Episode 41. Was it 41, Flores? 41.
I believe it was 41.
You said there's no way he's going to lose. Tyron Woodley's going to get him. So I want to start with Reuben. What happened, bro? The floor is yours.
He let everyone down, didn't he?
You're a disgrace.
I watched it, yeah, and you know, the nearer it got to the fight, I knew he was going to let us down.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The nearer it was getting, you know, I thought about things, you know, what we've got to understand, like, he was handpicked. He wasn't known for his striking in the UFC. The only thing he was known for was an overhand right, which in the last 4 fights in MMA didn't work anymore. It was gone.
Right.
And one thing I've got to say, as much as it pains me, we're forgetting, like, Jake Paul has been training religiously for 3 years with arguably some of the best trainers in the world.
Yes.
He's got the opportunities to, you know, have the right nutrition. So yeah, I've got to respect him a bit as a fighter. Yeah, he shouldn't be in the fights, or maybe it shouldn't be generating as much money as it is if we're just saying, you know, just purely boxing. But the fact is, we kind of got to put a bit of respect on his name now, even as much as it pains me.
Wow, because you was not ready to give him respect a couple episodes ago, Reuben. I can't lie. You're copping please right now.
I just have to. I'm in the mud right now. Woodley's let me down. You know, like, I mean, yeah. Because I think you put him against any reasonable boxer. And when I mean reasonable, I'm not including Tommy Fury.
That's a joke, man.
We're not trying to see that. We're not trying to see that. Yeah.
I'm not trying to see that.
But, you know, like, you put him against a good boxer, he wins. Yeah, you could. I mean, someone started talking some rubbish about some MMA guys coming over. How would, like, who was it? Max Holloway doing a boxing match. Like, he's not a boxer. He takes shots, yeah, and he can throw a lot. But, you know, they are two different sports. I'd rather actually just see, like, this clash of boxing and MMA stop, because if you watch the Matchroom card yesterday, they straight jacked the camera off UFC. Watch Warrington's walk.
Oh, yeah. Facts.
Same camera. So
Yeah.
no need to clash about it. But yeah, Woodley, like, from the bottom of my heart, you let everyone down.
You're a disgrace.
Jides. Go for it,
Jides.
Go for it, bro.
I'll be honest. I hear what you're saying, Reuben, but Tyron Woodley should knock out Jake Paul just because of the experience of fighting and the fact that he lost. Like, when he had him, I can't remember what round it was.
Fourth round.
Third or fourth?
Fourth. Mate, any fighter worth any kind of, you know what I'm saying, anything, when you've got someone like stumbling like that, you're going for the kill. He just let him, like, regather himself, and that's the problem with Tyron Woodley. That's why he's lost. I think it's his last 4.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Last 4 fights. It's literally because he lost his killer instinct. So when I saw him going over with Jake Paul and he's giving it the big un, talking rare, I actually expected him to just deliver. But the fact that you lost to Jake Paul, I'm sorry, I don't respect you. I don't respect you at all, because you shouldn't be losing to someone. Obviously, I know it's a different sport, but Tyron Woodley can actually, like, he can throw hands, but I don't know. Since he lost his title, he's just been washed. And for you to lose to Jake Paul, I just think you're washed, and you're washed. So Tyron Woodley, if you see this, look at my eyes. Yeah, you're a washed human being because you're a disgrace. How can you do that to MMA?
The only thing I will say in his defense, is if you actually look at the fight, everything's stacked against him. Like, he's pretty vertically challenged. You know,
but I'm sorry, but like
Go on.
Yeah, but the problem is he has so much experience of fight. Like, fighting is, at the end of the day, fighting is fighting. They're two different sports, and I'm not like trying to equate the two. But you're meant to have been the best was he welterweight? He's a welterweight. Meant to be the best welterweight in the world for how many years, and you can't beat Jake Paul, bro. I don't care. You just washed.
He's 40 as well. We've got to remember he's 40.
I don't care. This is like, we're giving way too much respect to Jake Paul. I don't care. No.
Wait, Jides, you're not ready to respect Jake Paul yet?
No. No.
Okay. Oh, no, that's cool. That's fair enough.
He just killed your legend, like you said.
He's my legend. He's not my legend.
Woodley's meant to be one of the best exports of MMA.
No. That's a lie.
So we're not saying Woodley's a legend, though?
Legend where? Legend who?
5-time UFC champion.
Wait, pause. So if they was to make a UFC Hall of Fame, are you telling me Woodley's not making it in there?
Because of how young the sport is, he'll make it in there. Just because of that.
I don't know.
This is a 5-time champion. Is it 5-time champion? Is that what this? Is that what it is?
I'm in an iron.
He's not in the Hall of Fame for me.
Oh,
for you?
Nah.
He was a long-time champion, though, no, right? He was a long-time.
All his fights were boring. He can't fight. But
I mean, that's the thing I heard about him, because obviously I'm not as clued up as Woodley on you guys, but in that 4th round when he had him hurt and he should have jumped on him,
he just doesn't.
People were telling me that's Woodley. Like,
that's him.
He's not really known for a lot of output in terms of throwing punches and stuff, and he doesn't really have that killer, that dog in him, that killer instinct.
Because when you see a fighter, like, when you connect that punch and they're stumbling, bro, anybody
as a fighter, you should know go mode.
Just switch on. Yeah. But you just literally let him regather himself.
He was watching him, bro. Him. I was like,
also I think his corner as well. They should have really been on him each round. Like, bro, you're losing this fight. And he just got to the end. And then I think he was even talking after the fight about how
he's begging for a rematch. That's what he's doing.
Do you know how embarrassing that is? You're begging Jake Paul for a rematch.
He's actually begging for a rematch, you know.
Yeah, here, man.
Man said he'll get a tattoo saying I love Jake Paul.
Tyron's talking all that smoke. What a waste of space. Sorry.
Go first.
I would have to say, like, you got Giants, you don't respect Jake Paul. How you got to see it now is that was a boxer versus an MMA fighter in boxing. And who's gonna win? Jake Paul's a boxer. However you want to package it. Jake Paul's a boxer. That's how he's drawing out these guys and fighting them. They think he's a YouTuber. This guy's a boxer who's been training at the highest level, at the highest level for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And he's got that. When you look at most fighters who are 3-0, they're not great. No 3-0 fighter is really super great.
From a boxing point, Jides, his form is actually really good in terms of his footwork. I was impressed by his footwork. He's got good footwork for obviously someone that's fresh to the sport. Like, you can tell he's been trained at the highest level.
Can I ask you, man, a question?
Yeah, go on.
So, obviously, I don't know if you've seen KSI fight. Obviously, we're going a bit off.
He's
actually technically a better boxer.
Jake Paul will smash him up.
From a technical standpoint, Jake Paul is so far ahead of KSI. I can't lie.
Jake Paul so far ahead.
Because I was seeing it and I was like, I think he's kind of somewhat overtaking him, because I know he was worse than him, but
I want to say KSI is a boxer. I would say KSI is still a YouTuber. And Jake Paul, he's a boxer right now. If he's fighting professional boxers, he'll just be fighting journeymen in a minute, and he'll be winning those fights. They'll be pitting him against people who are just going to go in there, stand and not throw punches. So he's drawing out all these celebrities who think he's just a YouTuber when he's really and truly he's a boxer.
To be fair, at the end of the day, he's the biggest draw in boxing right now. So I don't know what that's
he is.
I would argue with you. He's top 3.
He's top 3 right now.
One person above Jake Paul.
What? Who? Oh, Hasbulla. I said Hasbulla.
I'm going to start saying Arms Corleone next.
But man, it's funny because, I just, Reuben, Jack, you were so, telling me that there's no way Jake Paul's going to beat him. And then, look, so who would you guys put him up next? If there's anyone from UFC that you'd like to see it back? Because obviously they're throwing out all kinds of names.
It's the Starbender. He needs to just knock his head off, bruv.
Oh, you want to see him fight
Israel? You're going to knock him out, bruv. Get him out.
You said that about Tyron.
I'd like to put him in with Alistair Overeem.
Well, that's you can't.
Ain't he like a heavyweight or something?
Yeah, exactly. Like the big.
Come on, man. Come on, guys.
No, I would like to. You like.
But-
if you fight an actual striker from the UFC,
okay. See,
Israel's got boxing background, no? He used to box.
Yeah, Israel was smoking. He used to be a kickboxer as well. So actually, like, however, the distancing is a bit different with what's the name, MMA and with boxing. So it is two different sports. So it is
completely different, man.
You know who else I think might even beat Jake Paul? Calvin Kattar. You know, for Max Holloway. He's probably
yeah.
His boxing's crazy.
Okay.
But I'm just scared now. I just think we need to leave this.
Hey, Flores, I swear before people were saying, "Oh no, this cross thing is cool. I like it." Now they're saying, "Nah, let's leave it alone. Let you stick to you. What we'll do after you stick to."
This is you're batting for your king. Your king is Jake Paul.
My king isn't Jake Paul.
Your king is Jake Paul.
Right now, he's a boxer.
He's saving your sport. Without Jake Paul, there's no boxing. He's actually boxing.
The fact of the matter is, two of you lots guys have come over to the squared circle and been tucked up. That's a fact.
Two wrestlers.
The best fighter is Jake Paul.
That's a fact. And you lot have kept moving. Like at first, you're going, "Oh, what's his name? Who's the guy? Who's the guy knocked out the other? What's the rubbish one? They first said, "Oh yeah, Ben Askren. At least he's a fighter. Like he'll do better than Nate Robinson." And then he got knocked out. And then you lot then said, "Oh, but Ben Askren's a non-puncher. Let him fight someone that can actually throw punches in Woodley." And he still lost.
Bro, you're putting words in my mouth. I never said that.
No, that's what the MMA community, and you represent the community.
No, that's what you're thinking people said, bro. It's what you're making these arguments in your head.
That's what they said, bro. So I'm just saying, I'm calling you lot out because you lot were very adamant that Tyron Woodley is going to be a big. To be fair, he was a stiffer test because he's knocked out the rest of his guys. So he definitely was a stiffer test.
Man, I just think at the end of the day, like it's just embarrassing for Tyron.
I saw people saying that. Look, some people were saying that it was a robbery and that Tyron should have won, blah, blah. When you two watched the fight, were you guys adamant that it was a clear?
No, he didn't put enough output.
It was clear for me. It was very, very clear for me. I won't lie.
But the problem is, it's just because he's been fighting like that for the longest time, where he just kind of invites where he was a champion. And I have a feeling when you're a champion in fights, it's kind of on the onus is on the challenger to kind of press you and get the win. So he was just winning on points, say 4 or 5 times, not actually doing anything. So now he has to actually do something. It shows that his output is just terrible. Right. I just think it's just for you to lose to Jake Paul and your player your fighter at that level, I just can't respect you. And you're a waste of space and you're a disgrace. I'll say it again.
Well, he's officially retired in MMA now, hasn't he? Woodley?
Yeah,
he's
bro.
Not, okay, cool.
Bro, he doesn't want any of that Usman smoke. Nah, he wants something.
Oh, he's running from Usman. Okay.
Yeah, everyone's running from Usman. That guy's scary.
No, he's I've seen Usman. I like Usman. He's I don't think he's the most exciting to watch, but he wins. So I think he's Nigerian, so I'm happy in it. So
exactly.
Fair enough. Well, I repeat, I accept apology, boys. I accept it. It was good. On behalf of the MMA community, it's peak for you lot, but hey, boxing's still standing tall a little bit. Anyway, so.
Your best fighter is Jake Paul. You don't hear what I'm saying.
To be honest, it's 2-1 because Julio Chavez Jr.
Yeah. It's 2-1.
Look at that. Put Canelo in an octagon and then see.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, I can't lie.
Canelo probably win. I won't lie. The way Canelo's moving right now, he's wooded.
How many weight classes has that guy jumped to? Like, I can't lie. He's a bit scary.
You don't look, bro. It's ridiculous. Canelo's at the run he's on right now. I don't see anyone MMA or boxer beating him right now until he fights a heavyweight. That's what we're gonna make Canelo. They're gonna say like, go fight Joshua, go fight Ngannou because. He's obliterating everyone right now.
Take a leg kick.
I don't know. You tell me, man. You tell me.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, staying on MMA, there was a big card on yesterday. Of UFC. Was it Till versus Brunson?
Yeah.
Yeah. For you guys, I know Brunson won by submission. Was that the expected result that you expected to see, or were you hoping from something from Till?
I think I expected to see a better version of Till.
Okay.
It was one of those fights where there was always the threat of wrestling, and that can always nullify a fight. What's nice about Brunson is he's actually still quite an active wrestler. Yeah. So, he was still getting a lot of shots in, and it was very difficult for Till to get up. And, at a point when I think Till defended 2 takedown attempts back to back, I was thinking, okay, this is looking all right. His 1-2 so sharp. so much sharper than Brunson. And you could see when Brunson was getting caught with it, he wasn't too comfortable. Then there was that shot that, I'm not going to say it rocked him, but he definitely felt it. And then Till rushed in, and that's obviously when he got taken down, and the rest was a wrap. I thought he looked a bit tired, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Till, man. Yeah, I don't know what's
too big. I think that weight's too big for him. He looked soft, like a bit soft in the body. You know,
he looks fleshy. I agree with you. He did look fleshy.
Yeah. It's a shame though, because he's actually I don't know. I don't want to say this is like the end of him, but he's kind of got the chances he's getting are just gonna like reduce because he's getting all these bigger and bigger fights. He's getting all these bigger and bigger fights, and he's not converting. He's just not winning, and it's just a shame. I don't know. It's kind of a shame. I like Darren Till, innit?
Yeah,
I think he's a good fighter, but I just don't know. I don't know. Like if you can't really, Brunson's good. He's experienced, and obviously if you can't beat him, it is what it is. But it's going to get to a point that he's going to become a journeyman.
I saw he called that Adesanya after, because I think Adesanya's beat him before. Would it be the same result if he?
Adesanya's he is like on a different level to all the other fighters.
I enjoy watching him.
How can you call it Adesanya when he just lost?
Exactly. That's the problem with Till. Till's deluded. He's actually deluded. He's thinking,
No, I think Brunson called out Adesanya.
But you said Till called him out.
No, Brunson. Sorry, I meant Brunson afterwards. I saw he called him out saying he wants his because I think obviously Adesanya beat him before, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, Adesanya was
still smoking, yeah?
Still smoking. The thing is, Adesanya, he's got like, where he's the best striker in the division, arguably probably the best striker in the UFC currently. He can now he can defend takedowns and he's comfortable on the ground. So when you can get a striker that can kind of dictate where the fight goes, then there's literally nothing you can do. Because if you're a wrestler and you can't take someone down, then you're literally just fucked. So I think Adesanya will beat him.
Yeah,
if they fight.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And a question I want to ask as well, because I'm seeing a lot of talk about this Pimplet guy or whatever.
Paddy Pimblett.
Paddy the Paddy.
What's so good about him? Tell me about him. I'm not glued up on him.
I mean, I thought his hype was about 4 years ago.
Same.
Same. Not long to get signed. His performance, I saw it.
He's a talker, and he's interesting. That's what it is, basically.
Is he good though?
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah. If he's fighting at UFC, he's going to be good. But it's kind of he's more. The UFC is similar to boxing. Is if you can create hype around your fights, you're going to get fights in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a talker. He's interesting. He's funny.
Okay.
He's not bad. He's not bad at all.
Okay.
What do you think of his fight yesterday? Because I thought at points he was getting
pieced up. Let's be honest.
But the thing is, he's big
as well.
Yeah, he's big. He's quite big though. For his he's quite tall, so I think that he can take a lot of shots. But maybe just another fight. I'm just more interested to see when he fights more experienced fighters, kind of seeing when he's more difficult situations, because obviously he's going to get easier fights now, just because he's. I want to say I'm going to say the new Conor McGregor. I'm not comparing them, but just because like he is from England, so he's from Britain.
Yeah,
and he's kind of charismatic. That they're gonna try and angle him in that kind of loud, brash, like kind of angle. But I'm just interested to see the story, see what he's like. So
I just don't think he made much. I think for your first fight in UFC, I don't think he made that easy work of the guy. Up until that,
still knocked him out.
Fought him, it was but up until then, he was losing definitely.
Yeah, well, the win's the win. Yeah.
It was a good knockout. I was giving that, but yeah, I've heard about him like years ago when he was doing his stuff in whatever cage rage or whatever, and yeah, he was up and coming back then. Apparently, he turned down UFC, but he's a Scouse kid. Like you say, he's a talker. But yeah, obviously, I think his story is interesting because he talks about mental health. He lost his fight in front of his home crowd. That was the first fight he lost, and then he went into like a mental depression. But now he's back and doing well. So obviously, one to keep an eye out for. I was watching the UFC on and the boxing on at the same time yesterday, and I think the UFC might have edged it for me in terms of entertainment. Of course,
edged it. It's a better sport. It's fine.
It's a good segue because there's a reason I think why maybe the boxing kind of fell flat yesterday. If we sort of segue onto the boxing flows, there was a card on yesterday, headlined by Josh Warrington, his rematch against Mauricio Lara in Leeds. Before I get on with the main event, just to quickly touch upon, I guess, the undercard. Obviously, we've seen your shorty Ebony Bridges fight against.
You must be talking to Reuben and Jides.
against Mylis. Can't remember her surname, but a French lady.
Yeah, Gangloff.
Gangloff, yeah. I watched that fight and they gave a decision to Ebony Bridges, but I can't lie, the wrong decision. She lost that fight in my eyes. I thought she got pieced up in there. Very easy to hit. I think she hurt her hand halfway through, so she wasn't really throwing the right hand. But apart from that, I thought
How you spell this Ebony Bridges? I just want to see. I was just trying to see something. Just trying to see something. That's
yeah. She's famous for she does her the weigh-ins in her lingerie and
I've seen that one.
That blonde.
She's a great fighter. Perfect.
Top going straight to the top. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I like that one.
Guy. But basically, she didn't fight well at all. She's got a bit of hype around her because obviously she brings a lot of like media attention because she's very brash. Obviously, the whole lingerie thing, etc. She's very good at selling herself and her image and selling her fights. And
so you're saying that women have to sell their images of their body to be successful? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That's not what I said.
We can cancel you today if you
want. You can try. You'll fail. but that's what I'm saying. But yeah, she's a good talker, very charismatic, and she's in exciting fights. Her first fight over in England, she lost narrowly to Shannon Courtney, but that was a great fight. Second fight, which was a few months ago, she won in excellent fashion, and obviously, so she's got a bit of hype around her. But I just feel like she boxed poorly yesterday, easy to hit. And this Gangloff chick from I think Gangloff, she just impressed me. Just her boxing ability, footwork, counter shots, was catching her coming in, speed, and I feel very hard done by her for her because, like I said, you put in the work and you box superbly, and the hometown favorite or the home fighter gets all the rewards, which is hard.
So that's why you got to knock them out, bro.
Unfortunately, that's the unfortunate thing with women's boxing. You don't really see too much knockouts for the most part. You don't really see much knockouts. And obviously, it's 2 minute round. It's 2 minute rounds, isn't it, Flo? So it's a lot shorter as well. Actually, in UFC, the female fight, is it still 5 minute rounds as well? Or
everything's the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We're not sexist.
Maybe they should do that with women's boxing. But yeah, no, I just feel like Ebony lost that fight. It wasn't her best performance, and she can come away feeling very, very lucky about that W. What were your sentiments, Flo? Similar sentiments? Do you think she?
Yeah, it was.
See it. I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
You didn't catch it. Oh, okay.
Not one person I've spoke to says Ebony Bridges won.
Yeah, she didn't win. It's as simple as that.
That was enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, all this thing with 2 minute boxing, for me, it's a bit weird. It's like there's that dispute about pay. It's like, well, you're doing a third less. Then you get the boxing commission say, no, they've got scientific proof that it's not good for them to fight any longer.
That doesn't make sense.
UFC fight for 5 minutes. So
that's what I want to
ask. 2.5
rounds
rounds at once.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, Ebony Bridges is looked at as a bit of a cash cow, isn't she? Really?
Yeah. Now she is. Yeah.
She, you just look at her. She's a very modern fighter. Understands that it's not literally the skills don't just pay the bills. There'll be plenty of fighters who are more skilled than a lot of people on these cards. But it's actually how much revenue you bring in, and she's excellent at it. It's a different angle. Some people will like that angle she takes. Some females will like that angle. Some will hate it. Some will think it's disrespecting, or taking away from the skill that the fighters have. But ultimately, she's never losing a close decision. That's the truth of it. And that's
the problem I have, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's
the scary thing is, as I was watching the fight and I knew it was going to happen. I was like, I hope the judges do the right thing here. And as soon as they didn't, I just switched over to the UFC. I was like, this is a joke. I was like, this is. And then you watch the UFC fight, the Meatball Molly versus the Korean. Great fight. Great judging, no controversy, great fight, enjoyable. Not this, like you say, 2 minute round stuff. It wasn't the most exciting fight for a women's boxing fight. maybe because of that injury she had. But
Yeah.
the fact that the judgings, it came down to that, and it was stinky. It's just annoying. It's just typical boxing, ain't it?
We're used to it now, aren't we? So yeah.
Yeah, when you're predicting it and expecting it, and it happens, it's just funny. I mean, but yeah, she'll go on. They don't want to ruin the money train, which is obviously the rematch with Shannon Courtney.
Yeah.
Potential fight with Ellie Scotney.
Yeah.
There's opportunities for her which they don't want to mess up, so she can't be losing to no French girl kind of thing. So
yeah, I hear that. Shame. But yeah, that French girl, she did really well. And if I see her on the card, the girl, I'll tune in because I thought she boxed. But yeah, well, Bridges is it's a very good crowd pleasing style, but she's very predictable, very easy to hit, comes forward in a straight line, all that. So
she fights like Derek Chisora.
Yeah. No, she does.
She does. That's it.
Come forward, swing wide, yeah, heavy swings, and yeah, just not really dipping the head. Yeah, exactly. It's very predictable, very straight line, very linear. So yeah, man.
All of that.
That's look at him. Look at this guy, man. Shocking.
It's boxing, you know.
But what on Dr. Umar's internet? Yeah, cool. Cool.
Oh my days. True. Yeah.
Anyways, well, we're gonna move forward with another undercard fight I caught. Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados. I was really looking forward to this fight because I'm a big fan.
Is he any good, Conor Benn?
Well, yeah, but we're about to.
Because I've heard two different. Like some people say he's air, and he's just like.
I like him a lot.
We'll break it down for you.
We'll break it down. Yeah. So no, I think we're on this pod overall. We're fans of Conor Benn. We like his personality. Very charismatic as well, and I've been liking what I've seen from him in the ring because obviously he's someone that has zero amateur experience really, and obviously we know he's doing it because of his dad and etc. So
is he an Instagram boxer? That just looks good on Instagram.
No, I would say no, because you can tell he's really hungry, despite obviously being born with like a silver spoon in his mouth and the fact that his dad's a legend in the sport. He might have been things have been given to him easily, which he acknowledges, but he trains basically like he's broke. Basically, and his hunger and desire is almost as if he hasn't been afforded the luxuries that other people have. So that's why I really like him. That's why I really like him. And he's been making a name for himself in the welterweight division, and his last fight was spectacular. He beat up the guy in 30 seconds. It was amazing. So I've kind of expected, some that sort of explosiveness coming into this fight. Granados, I know very well. He's not really a great, Granados has fought the best at world level and always lost. So I kind of felt like he'll be food for Benn, kind of like Vargas was last fight. But that performance from Benn, it didn't give what I wanted it to give, I'll be honest. It went the full 10 rounds. Granados was actually very crafty in there, a lot craftier than what I thought it would be. And he basically just came to frustrate Benn. He wasn't easy to hit, was circling around, sort of on the back foot, backpedaling. And Benn's performance to me he was very rushed. I felt like he was trying too hard to impress and trying too hard to get the big shot and the big knockout. And that made him look sloppy. He was just throwing big shots. We wasn't really setting up his work, missing wildly, just a bit over aroused. That's sort of what I got from Benn. So it's one of them ones where it's like, you've had a great performance in your last fight. I'm trying to see improvements into this fight. But this is kind of taking me back to your wildish days, which I've seen from you before. So yeah, it wasn't the best, even though he got the win, deservedly so. He didn't give what I wanted him to give from me. So I was kind of disappointed when that was done. What about yourself, Lois?
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. First round, he came in there looking like, I want to get this guy out there in the first round.
I knew he'll come like that as well, yeah.
Loaded up on shots, stalking, proper sitting down on every shot. But it was wild and reckless. I don't think he properly settled in till the third round, and even then he was still trying to load up on shots. It was a strange performance because we've been saying Benn's improving, and the last fight we didn't really get to see much. So we wanted to see some skills on display. And we could put it down to maybe him being frustrated at this fight, got delayed, a big crowd back, he wants to impress. He just didn't seem relaxed, he didn't seem settled, he didn't seem patient, really. Granados made it awkward. He used an experience today. He was rolling with shots. He was boxing on the back foot. He was picking his spots to work in.
Yeah.
But I think Ben could have performed better, even though he won most of the rounds. I think it still didn't seem like a patient. It didn't seem like a skillful performance. And obviously, we're looking at the welterweight division now and thinking, who can we pit him against? Who can he beat with certain performances? That performance there doesn't beat anyone decent. I'm afraid you can't. If you're going to load up on shots and not even get the guy out of there after 10 rounds, then it's not impressive.
Yeah.
There were some good things like going to the body, but my man was throwing shots and doing 360 pirouettes, completely missing. Doing Cinderella man in the middle of the ring, spinning. So it just goes to show. Maybe I think it's down to frustration, and he's an emotional guy.
Very.
I think
he was just he was over eager, wasn't he? Because I think he was impressed. When you knock a guy out in 30 seconds in your last fight, people are going to be thinking, we're trying to see something like that again, almost. Especially when the opponent's of a similar level. I said Vargas and Granados were similar levels, so you're expecting them to at least drop him a few times, and I felt like because that wasn't coming, because this guy was coming to frustrate him and smother his work and stuff, that's why he started becoming a bit wild and reckless. And as we saw, that's what sort of happened, I think.
Yeah.
Give him a Avanesian and see what happened if you put a performance in like that.
Sorry?
Give Conor Benn David Avanesian.
He loses.
Yeah.
From that performance, he loses.
That's what I mean. It's like, don't get me wrong, I was with you. The last performance, he looked good. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him anyway. Not even just not just even based on his boxing style. I just, I go off energy and I don't like it.
Okay, fair. Yeah, he's not for everyone.
He's a bit biased in that point, but that guy's resume, great. Yeah, only guy to beat him was Danny Garcia within, before all the rounds went out. He's fought Sean Porter, Broner. He's fought.
Yep.
But it's a bit like, a couple of years ago, he was that guy. He's not still that guy now. So he was being fed to you, and there just wasn't much composure. Like, he was nearly 360 with some of his misses. That's not to try and be. He generally actually was. He was throwing with everything he had.
Yeah.
And most pirouetting. It was mad. Like, there's another thing with his footwork I don't like. Have you noticed this little hop he does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to mention his footwork.
Like that, like double step towards you.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's weird. It's almost like, you do that if there's a pad man there with a pad on and he's not throwing back at you. Yeah. But it doesn't look right doing it to someone who can throw back at you. And I saw something earlier as well. They were saying, like, it's very convenient that when you've got a couple of Mexicans on the card, look at the size of the ring.
Yeah.
I think it was that Uncle T, boxing was talking about it.
Okay, bigger ring.
Big ring. Yeah, it didn't work out for Katie Taylor and stuff who are on the card. That doesn't work there, but like, you look at like the Mexicans, they want the small ring. They want to be in your face. And it's like, we can see from a promoter's point of view, we know who was supposed to win those. It was Benn and Warrington. That's why that card was on.
I was going to say, naturally, I think Eddie, after they've been upset a couple of times now by Mexicans coming out of nowhere. So that's why he's probably trying to take precautions to help his fighters. Because...
That's why he sent them to Leeds. He sent them to Leeds. Feel that atmosphere over there. Go up to cold Leeds.
Yeah,
feel the atmosphere there.
Trust, because he's trying to avoid no more upsets. But not the best performance from Benn. Obviously, he's still calling out the same names as before. I'm hearing now that Hearn's trying to sort out a fight with Broner. Apparently, I don't know if that's going to. I don't know how easy that fight's going to be. I don't think it's going to be easy to make at all. But I won't lie, I would love to see that fight. Conor Benn versus Adrian. I'm here. I'm here for it because one, I want to see Broner knocked out. I'm tired of him. But forget that. Can you deep the promo between Benn and Broner?
Yeah,
Ben gives it as well, and obviously we know what Broner's on. That guy's on foolishness. So yeah, man, I'm ready for that. But I just don't think it's gonna be very easy to make because Hearn's gonna have to offer Broner a lot of money to even consider coming over here. Because and we know how temperamental Broner is as well. So
it'll probably have to be the US for that. But Broner's not 147 fighter.
Not naturally, no. But if the money is right, Broner will go up to 147. We know that. So and he's a huge name.
I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see it?
Broner loses.
You know Broner will lose. He doesn't throw punches.
Yeah, that's why he'll lose. But I want to see if Conor Benn's serious about making waves, not just money grabs. If he's serious about, then he should be having decent step ups. Broner is not the step up. That's a money grab.
It's a name. It's a big name for him.
It's a big name, but then he's not going to learn anything as such. It's not the type of fight he needs. I'm more thinking of like a Jesse Vargas. That's a good fight.
Cool up,
That's a good step up. Even fighting a Josh Kelly is a good fight, so we can actually pit them against each other. A David Avanesyan, even though he'll lose.
I think Avanesyan's a good shout as well.
Calling out Khan, calling out Broner, you're calling them out
Porter.
because it's paydays.
Yeah.
Porter, he's just calling out for the sake of calling out.
He can't fit. You'll get mauled by Porter. Porter will maul him. Like, it'll be bad. So
you need to work your way up to that, and so
he's still not there yet. He's still not there yet. We like him, and I like seeing improvement from him, but he's still not there yet. He needs to just chill a little bit, I think. But,
it was funny because Eddie Hearn was saying names like Robert Guerrero. He said Ortiz, and then
wait, you mentioned them too.
He said Ortiz, and then he was like, "Whoa, not Virgil, Victor." I said not yet. So not yet for Virgil, because Virgil killing that boy,
murder him. Yeah. But I'm not trying to see him fight Guerrero and Victor Ortiz. They're finished.
That's what they're looking at. Look at they're cherry picking. They're trying to be smart with it. But that's, and obviously with his Spanish speaking, they're trying to pit him against the Mexicans. I think he was speaking Spanish
in the 10th round. You see, he's saying, "Vamos, let's go, let's fight." Like I thought to myself, he's so funny, man. Like I like how he gets his Spanish going. It's hilarious.
He's speaking it to people born in America. Obviously, Granados doing Spanish, but
but let's talk about the main event. It was a bit of an anticlimax. Warrington versus Lara, the rematch. Obviously, we know Lara massively upset Warrington before. So obviously for this rematch, they tried to give everything in Warrington's favor, made it in Leeds.
And he headbutted
him. I mean, we know with the Leeds fans, it's going to be a big atmosphere for Warrington. And unfortunately, the fight ended after 2 rounds due to a accidental clash of heads. The ref obviously ruled the accidental clash of heads and made it, just a no contest, wasn't it, Flores? Technical draw, something like that.
Yeah.
So, very anticlimactic. I feel for both fighters, not just Warrington. Everyone's like, "Oh, I got it for Warrington." I feel for Lara as well, because obviously you train your ass off, and something like that happens. But I would say that for me, obviously watching the first round, we've seen Josh Warrington come in like a train, and he started superbly, I think, as I knew he would. But then the second round, I say superbly. He Reuben's shaking his head. When I say superbly, I mean, if you compare to the first fight where he started sloppy, I think the first one, he came in. I liked his work in the first one. He came in with the energy. He came in, he put pressure a little bit. But from the second, obviously, it ended in the second round. But I watched that second round thinking to myself, Lara started to get the big shots going. From the second round onwards, I was there thinking that Lara was he looked to me stronger straight away from the second round onwards. So
Warrington just looked shook.
From round 2, when I think
he came. Have you seen how?
No, he had trying to box on the back foot.
But I gave him the first round. So I'll tell you why I gave him the first round, because he probably landed the better shot slightly.
That one shot. Shot. I know the shot you're talking about. The commentator was saying, when they said, "What a superb round," I was thinking, it's a superb round for no one.
How would you score that first round?
No, Warrington wins it. I'm not saying he doesn't win it, but it's not superb. For me, it's the argument I've had, before. For me, there's an argument. You can't use this in scoring, but we know what Warrington's style is. And that isn't Warrington's style.
The pressure,
So who's had the better game plan there? Lara already has made him not fight. The same with the Kid G fight. The Kid G, that's not the Warrington everyone knew. He wouldn't have all these fans if he'd fought like that for the last X amount of fights.
Yeah.
Then you say that, who's been truer to who's implemented their game? Kid G's implemented, and Lara's just shook him to the core that he doesn't want to take one of those shots. But
in that first fight, the one thing I didn't like from Warrington was in that first round, in that first fight, he tried to come on the tip of, I'm going to try and outbox you kind of thing, which we know it's just not his style. So he was a slightly more passive, less aggressive, trying to counter hit Lara and whatnot. And obviously saw it didn't work, full stop. So what I liked about this first round from him this time is that at least he tried to step to Lara and actually, even though he had the high guard and everything, he pressured. He actually pressured. What's his name? Lara. So that's why from that I sort of liked what I was seeing in that sense. However, from that second round onwards, obviously he only lasted. Obviously, the second round was the last one. I've seen Lara catch him with a few big shots, and already I'm there thinking, if this goes on the way I think it's going on, it's going to be a horrible, horrible night for Warrington. It might be more of the same, because from that second round onwards, I was already there thinking, I'm seeing these big shots make it through, pass through the guard. He's become easy to hit again. It's going to be peak. But obviously, we was robbed of that. But I do think that if we had seen the full 12 rounds, but maybe to round 7, I think we would have seen Warrington get dropped a couple times and be, and as we know, and be stopped. So yeah, it was anticlimactic, which is a big shame. But yeah, it wasn't. My prediction would have been that Warrington would have lost overall, anyways, ultimately. I guess you agree as well, Reuben Flores. I'm guessing you agree as well. Like, you think probably Warrington was gonna. Obviously, it's hard to tell in the fight, but
it's a tough one after 2 rounds. First, I just want to say, great call to stop it, because after 2 rounds, you're seeing that cut is completely split his eye underneath his eyebrow. Nasty cut. If that happens in the 10th round, then you're maybe saying, yeah, keep going. You try to see, but it would have been a bloodbath after the second round. It would have been stopped shortly. So great call to stop it there, and I think it's the most fair thing to do. Obviously, sad for both fighters. But yeah, you're looking at it, and I wanted to see how Lara responded to the atmosphere. And he's walking, he seemed confident. He got in the ring, he seemed confident. He was as game in this fight as the first fight. He seemed confident. And even after the first round, Warrington won it, Lara still looked confident. And that looked scary to me. And you saw in the exchanges when it was Lara who was landing the big shots again. So I felt if it went to 12, Warrington would have got it based on the judges and based on him probably staying away from those exchanges. Yeah. I think the second round he would have. I don't know why he was saying that. He don't know how he beat him last time, because potentially he could have got knocked out again for what we saw.
From what I was seeing in that second round, what I saw developing, I don't think it was going to go to 12 rounds. I think he would have got dropped again a few times.
I think he would have had to avoid those exchanges. I think because it looks like he tried it out, and I don't think he enjoyed it in that second round. I don't know why he was acting like he did.
Yeah.
But I think Lara, if he kept doing that style, he would have lost. If he was doing what he was trying to do in the first round, where he was high guard, keeping his head low, boxing in a way that we don't usually see him box.
Just headbutting.
To be fair, that might have been part of the game plan,
There was about 5.
There was a few. I feel like it was part of the game plan,
Yeah, I just didn't like his energy, man. I don't like his whole camp's energy, to be honest. I don't like his
Josh Warrington is very love-hate, isn't he? Obviously, if you're from Leeds, you love him. But I think
he talks West.
He basically, he does. He talks basically like he's right. He runs that division, and we know he doesn't. He talks like my man said, I cleaned up the division before, and we said, cleaned what up? You beat 2 guys, like you beat 2 men. You didn't unify. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he talks like he's the nuts at that division, and he's not.
Have you seen the energy they've been giving after the fight?
Yeah. They're saying like Lara's scared.
The dad's annoying. The dad, I don't listen to the dad. The dad he's
even
a mess.
Before he was like, I'm about to smash their heads in. I was thinking, listen, if it's one Mexican family, a family in Leeds,
I'm going with a Mexican.
There's only one massacre. What are you even talking about? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like Warrington.
They came across.
He came just for the ring walk. That's it. He came for the ring walk. Get put up on that little podium, smoke machine, and that was it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not looking to see him. I think, he felt so entitled to get the Lara rematch, but the same thing to say, well, where was the Kid G rematch? Because he didn't get out. Where was the Kid G? You don't hear him about it. He's moving on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's fights he's had now. He thought he was going to get the Lee Wood fight. He's obviously not going to get the Lee Wood fight anymore. You know, there will be someone for him. But Warrington, I'm just thinking, like, even look at his last 2 fights since Kid G. They're not more impressive than Kid G's. So, like, what is he talking about? And, like, he can't even implement his own game. You know what I mean? He tries to say he's always strong. And if you've seen his fans, you see that Leeds football player at the front swearing at the
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he's on the cut out abuse of football players like Webster saying, cut it out. Yeah, cut what out, mate?
Yeah, I hear that.
Reuben killing them.
Follow him, you know what I mean? Like, poor old Lara got a pint on him on the ring wall.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Security weren't there. You would be cleaning his
This is why everyone tends to hate Leeds fans, by the way. It's kind of synonymous with them.
I was Team Mexico yesterday before the fight even started. I wanted Tottenham, to just get absolutely flat, like a sick picture, aerial view of him like a starfish.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
But Reuben, you might get your chance because they're definitely going to have a third fight.
No, don't give it to him. I don't want Lara to give it to him.
He will, though. He will, because they're going to offer him a good amount, well, probably a career high purse to get this fight on again for the third time. So he's going to take it.
Man.
But
it's got to start a GoFundMe page for him.
Well, Reuben, I don't think Lara has anything to worry about, you know.
It's not about worrying. I just don't even want to give him the opportunity to even get a chance.
Reuben can't stand Josh Warrington, boy.
I
didn't even know he didn't like it like this.
Honestly, I don't like him one bit. I don't like his camp, nothing about him. He's got that little backup dancer who does nothing. What's his name? Nick. What's his name? He's just standing there. What do you bring to it, mate? Nothing.
But yeah, anticlimax for the main event over in 2 rounds. We will definitely see a third fight, and I won't lie. If I'm predicting them right now in the third fight, I'm placing my bets with Lara. I just don't think he fears Warrington at all.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Obviously, we know Warrington isn't really a power puncher like that anyway. He's just known for work rate and energy. And Lara knows he can hurt him. So, yeah. Badly, as we saw. So I think he's looking to take that again and beat him up again. I just don't know how Warrington can beat this guy, because Warrington's best attribute, as we know, is the work rate and energy and exchanging with people. And this is the guy he's run into, which he can't exchange with, because this guy hits harder than him and hurts him. So it's like, where do you go from there? We've seen him try to fight on the back foot and try and be the clever boxer in there. It just doesn't suit him. He struggles in that regard. So yeah, this is a real banana skin for Josh Warrington, you know. And obviously we know he's got lofty ambitions for this division. It's looking peak for him. I can't lie.
He's only
was making excuses.
He's only got a work rate against people who allow him to give him one. The minute he doesn't have a work rate.
Yeah.
Like, there was no work rate. He wasn't standing in the pocket, throwing. It was like, no, you're walking with a high guard. You were throwing shots. You were having success. But it wasn't like, if you'd only ever seen that of Warrington, you wouldn't think, oh, he's a bit of a cardio machine, would you? Whereas in previous fights, you've seen him, you know, he does like...
The Frampton fight, I mean, Selby fight as well, just straight work rate, straight energy, pressuring you from round 1 to round 12. But
do that against Avanesian, and then we'll be seeing...
Yeah.
I mean, someone of that kind of, not ilk, but, you know, like the real pressure fighter. Even like Lara does show it. He can be there. He can stand with you. And he can hit you hard. And we've seen it. And then we see a different Warrington come out. Yeah. That's what worries me about it. I just think that his style's effective to a level. After that, he's got to rethink it. And like you said, we've seen other versions of him and you're not too impressed with him. You know, like him fighting off the back foot and stuff. Where does he go? Because he's still not at the upper tier now. There's still some marquee fights that were available for him before he lost. And looking at this, I don't necessarily think he should be in those marquee fights. I don't think they go too well for him.
I agree. I fully agree. I don't think he's at the top. Obviously, he considers himself one of the best in the division and up there with the Gary Russell Juniors and who can't remember the other champion as well. But Kid G now. I think they're better than him.
Kid G's definitely better than him.
I think Kid G's better. And I think Gary Russell is really good. So yeah.
But as a tactician, technically, Kid G takes some beating.
Brilliant. I really.
Isn't he? Not the best fights. No one wants to watch Warrington Kid G too, me included. I don't want to see that. Not because of Warrington, it just weren't a great fight.
Yeah.
I did listen to an interview with Kid Galad the other day when he was saying, I think it would sell. I was thinking, come on, man.
It won't. Well,
it will sell.
It will sell on the back of Warrington, because Warrington brings a massive die-hard fan base. So it will sell off him, not really Kid G, because a lot of people don't like Kid G either. But off Warrington, it's definitely selling. Definitely.
Because it's definitely got to sell more than his previous 2 fights. Warrington's previous 2. You know what I mean? It's just like some of the people, and I'm not entirely convinced, man.
But yeah, overall, fairly anticlimactic end to a fairly promising card, but I guess it didn't really go down as promising as we thought it would be, did we? And as you said, Flows, you felt like the UFC outshone boxing last night. So
yeah, the card was a good card. I'll give it to you guys.
Actually, just one thing that you touched upon, Reuben. You mentioned how the camera angling thing for the Warrington thing they've jacked from the UFC, and I think this is something. I think it's something you predicted as well previously on when you came on, that the whole dynamic camera sort of angle scheme. You feel that boxing are going to do that soon, and obviously we saw that. We've seen it now. Like, it was a good prediction from you. What was your take on that?
I think it's good. You know, I like both sports. I really do. I like boxing and I like MMA.
Yeah.
I think, and this is not me being a fan of them, but I'm excluding Matchroom out of this, because I do think they're quite innovative and they look towards the UFC to get their ideas, which there's no problem with that, because the UFC will be looking to WWE. Like, that's they do, and like, they weren't the first one with the camera. The NFL used it.
The
NFL used it. I think the basketball used it before they used it. It's a very common thing in film. It's not a new camera. It's a particular lens and style, and it works very well. I think it brings emotion out of it. Like that Kamaru Usman Gilbert Burns, like, I felt like I was like there. You know what I mean? You could see it. You could see the sweat. It looked like a computer game, and like intro. So I'm happy Matchroom have used it, and I think, you know, it looked good when they're walking down. It did add to the production value, and that's something like you need to see. You need to see that addedness.
That's one thing. Matchroom are very innovative. They're definitely the most innovative out of. I mean, if you compare them to Queensbury and the other, throws a lot at
Big Hennessy in his iPhone.
The Big Hennessy on Channel 5. Like, it's different, man. It's different. Eddie's very forward thinking, Eddie. So I'm not surprised that he's hopped on that. And I did like it as well. It definitely adds a brand new dynamic. So yeah, I'm for it.
Fight camps, just Fight Island. It's the same. Again, it's not. I don't think MMA is better because they've done that. Like, there's other reasons. We won't get into them because it'll get a little bit tricky. But, you know, for me, I just think like the era, like Frank, like, take a seat, man.
Old man. Bob Arum, old.
No, but you know what? Bob's still above them. I don't want to see any more leisure centre fights. I can't be bothered.
Leisure centre.
Honestly, it's like Frank Warren and Mick Hennessy. They should both get in a leisure centre, fight, and film it on my iPhone, because that's how they put their shows out. It's so anticlimactic.
Yeah,
you have good fights. They get good fights, and they have fighters. But you have to understand, like, unless you're a purist, you don't want to watch that, man. You're thinking, oh, look at that place. You can smell it. You know what it smells of, like beer. It's on the carpet. You don't want to go there. You know, like, so I think that's why I wanted to exclude Matchroom, but I think they've got to start picking that up across the board, because MMA as a whole, production's becoming better. Like PFL, if you look at them now, like mid-fight, they're telling you the speed of the last punch.
Yeah.
And they're showing like angles kicks have come in at live. These are live statistics. It's like, and there's a lot more elements to worry about in MMA. You've got like takedown speeds, you know, arms, legs, knees, elbows. Like boxing, we've got a bit of footwork, we've got hands. To master it, it's nothing about the skill. To master it is still very hard.
Yeah.
But I feel you could just give the viewers more, because, you know, we're seeing prices increase. The zone's going up to $7.99. I don't have a problem with it going to $7.99. I knew it was never staying at $1.99. It's impossible.
Never.
You know, $29.99 in the US. So we'll probably get to $19.99. But we can offer more. And DAZN, I do think it could be the platform to do it on. Because you haven't got to be buying these TV slots. So there's money to allocate elsewhere. Yeah. But I do believe they're going to release a pay-per-view model. Joshua can't come on there unless there's a pay-per-view model. Really, in my opinion.
Better not. But yeah, they will. I think they will.
They will. I think it's a matter of time.
Can't have Joshua and Canelo on that and not.
For $1.99 a month in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's business, isn't it? But yeah, cool. That rounds up the weekend's action. I want to fast forward to a fight going down next week. It's a good fight, but I'm not looking to discuss the actual fight itself. So Oscar Valdez versus is it Felipe Conceição? Is it Felipe? I might be completely wrong about his first name. I know it's Conceição.
It's Robson.
Robson Conceição, yeah, okay, Robson Conceição. That's actually on paper a really good fight. Oscar Valdez, as we know, we've covered him before. Very, very good champion. Conceição was a Olympian, undefeated challenger who actually beat him in I think the amateur. When they fought an amateur, Conceição actually beat Valdez.
Okay,
but I'm not even going to discuss the fight because I'm here to really discuss about the situation around the fight, which has got me very annoyed. And as you know, I love boxing, but at the same time, I hate boxing too, for many reasons. And it's come out that Oscar Valdez has failed a drugs test. Actually, Flores, I'm gonna let you sort of let the list summarize for the listeners sort of what's going on with this sort of situation here between Valdez and Conceição. For obviously, and also Reuben and Jides, who might not be as familiar as well.
Yes, so Oscar Valdez, WBC super featherweight champion. Tested positive for a banned stimulant. Let me get up what it's called. Fentanyl. Yes, thank you, Reuben. Fentanyl. Tested positive. They've gone for a B sample. He also fails that test. Tested positive again for it. So you're thinking, he's got to be banned. This is a performance enhancement drug. It's a banned substance on the VADA testing model. This is a banned substance. If you take it, you should be banned. You should be punished, stripped, maybe even. The fight shouldn't go ahead is the point. But the fight is going ahead. The WBC and the commission have sanctioned this fight and they said it's going ahead. Mauricio Suleiman has said, it's not actually a PED, but if he tests positive again, then he'll be banned. They've given him a slap on the wrist saying, he has to make a few public appearances and pay a fine. But I thought it wasn't a PED. If it's not a PED, then why is this in place? Why is all this in place? They're moving the goalposts left, right, and center. And it's a damning indictment on boxing as a sport. It's embarrassing. It's almost sickening that this fight is going ahead and he's receiving no punishment. His camp have said it was from herbal tea and it was traces. He's failed two tests, a B sample, A sample, both positive, and the fight will still happen. It's a joke.
There's so many talking points here, bro, because bro, obviously, so at first I could tell, and like this it's a joke because so at first it's obviously they pinged him for the failed tests, and the commission have come and said the commission because the fight's been held in Arizona, so the Arizona commission, the commission that's handling the fight said, we're happy to go ahead with the fight, we're happy to proceed, despite the fact that obviously the first issue is the fact that the commission this was done by VADA. They signed up to VADA testing. VADA are an organization that deal with testing.
They just do the tests. They submit the results.
So they're the ones that do the test, submit the results, and they've got the list of banned substances and whatnot. However, the commission where this fight's going ahead, they don't adhere to VADA. They adhere to WADA, which is another organization for doping testing and whatnot. And on WADA's list, this substance isn't banned.
No, but it is. It is banned.
Is it still banned?
It is banned.
On WADA?
Any stimulant is banned.
It's just not in competition.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
And in competition is fight day.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, but my point is, this issue with it's one thing I've highlighted before in this thing. There's so many different bodies and whatnot as to is it WADA, if it's VADA. There's so many different anti-doping organizations, and some of these doping organizations have got different rules and different whatever. This causes confusion within the sport because why can't they just all assemble under one governing body for anti-doping? Whether I think VADA is really the best one. So why doesn't every commission and every organization, every governing body adhere to one organization? Why does it have to be multiple? We know it's money, but it's just annoying because
VADA's by the fighters. No commission works with VADA. It's the fighters who work with VADA, so they have to enroll under VADA. It's part of their agreements. VADA's its own body. So if a fighter doesn't enroll and pay for this testing, it doesn't happen. WADA is a joke, obviously. He
Yeah.
said, it's not on fight day, so he's allowed to use it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And
The only
remember,
thing I would say though with that flows is because after that I was looking because I take a tablet, like I've got a prescription I have every day.
Yeah.
It's on the banned list. It's on the same list in the same group as that drug.
Okay, to be fair, that is true. That is another thing about banned substances. Yes, I get your point.
You know what I mean? Like for me, don't get me wrong, I was actually thinking, hang on, can you be able to take this? So I was thinking, it don't make sense to be able to take it fight day, put it that way. Like what I take is called modafinil. So like get prescribed for like some people, like pilots can get prescribed it, you know, so when people have weird shift patterns, with some kind of sleep apnea, but I have like a type of narcolepsy. So I get prescribed it, but I have 400 milligrams a day. If I don't want to go to bed, I don't have to go to bed, like for a couple of days. Like it's anti-fatigue. It improves your cognitive ability. They say it was the first smart drug of its kind to be approved. So yeah, you can't take that fight day.
Yeah, you can't
Equally, arguably, you can't take it during training because it just means I can train harder. Like I can stay up all night. Have them an hour before training. I'm good to go.
That's a good retort. Yeah, that's a good point. Because that's the issue with a lot of these banned substances. Because maybe last year they would be banned, and then this year they're banned and stuff like that.
Yeah, it changes all the time.
Yeah, it changes all the time.
Someone though, because you're saying people can't then be. It'd be like, okay, Reuben, like you can't fight pro because of that. And
but couldn't you get? Obviously, you can't
get an exemption.
Yeah, you can get exemptions, but that's the reason for the in competition ruling. So,
but the only thing is, I think what we're kind of forgetting is, like, obviously we're arguing the legality of the drug. At the end of the day, it's not legal, so he shouldn't be fighting, regardless of
simple.
So when they're allowing him to fight, it's I think it's even disrespectful to the opponent as well, because I'm taking it if
I was going to just piggyback on what you about to say. If my man dies, obviously this is extreme. This guy gets severely hurt. Boxing's finished. Boxing's
no, shouldn't be fighting.
Because this is a band, like, and obviously the WBC president Mauricio Suleiman, who's a bit of a clown sometimes, is there saying, "Oh, it's not a performance enhancer. It's basically like he literally said it's like taking 3 Red Bulls." How can you come out and say that? And I just want to highlight as well quickly, there's a guy called, if you're not familiar with athletics, there's a guy called Victor Conte who got pinged a couple of years ago for the Balco scandal. That was like Balco was a lab that were basically supplying a lot of sprinters and athletes with steroids, like obviously illegally. So Marion Jones, Dwayne Chambers, they all got caught up on this scandal. But he's come out and said, so he's come out and said, Suleiman's lying. It is a performance enhancer because I used to give this to my athletes, and what it does, he basically described it as, it basically, obviously, gives you more energy, basically, anti-fatigue, all that kind of stuff. So it does enhance you, helps your breathing, etc. So the whole slap on the wrist from the WBC is shocking. I'm not surprised because the WBC, they like them and the WBA. So as I've said it before, I think they're the worst, 2 of the worst organizations. They're poor. So they're showing favoritism to a big fight because Valdez is a big name. He's a big fighter. So they're just showing favorites.
But I think it does show as well the lack of fighters in boxing, that they can't afford for a fight of that, like a fight that's that big to not go ahead.
Too big to fail. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
You haven't got, like, there isn't any other fighters. So think about it, if there was other fighters and you had a lot of competition in that division, then you would be like, oh well, you took the drug, kind of is what it is. Bye bye, see you later. But when he's the big draw and the only big draw in that division, I'm assuming anyway, they actually can't afford for him to go. So they have to actually give him a slap on the wrist. So it's kind of that argument of, if you have more fighters in that division or more fighters that can have that draw, then maybe that's going to incentivize them to actually follow the rules. Because it doesn't really make sense. If someone takes the drugs, they shouldn't be fighting. And maybe
the rules.
It's true.
They just moved the goalposts. My issue is not even the substance itself. It's the way the WBC and the commission have handled it. That's my, because remember, David Benavidez was stripped for using recreational coke.
Oh my God!
Stripped of his belt and banned for using coke. They just said, "Oh, you can't." So why now is someone tested positive for some of this banned substance?
Yep.
And then you're saying it's not even a performance enhancement. But if he takes it again, we're going to ban him. This is going to be his punishment. Why is the goalpost all over the place?
I've got a quick question though. Surely, if the I'm trying to think, what's his name? I'm looking. Who's he fighting? He's fighting.
Conceição. Robson Conceição.
Yeah, Conceição. Yeah. So if Conceição loses and gets smacked, surely he can turn around and be like this is he failed the drug test. So one, I want a rematch. Two, you shouldn't be fighting in the first place, kind of thing. Can you not take someone to court for that? Because I know fighters have done that in the past.
Bro.
They've actually like taken fighters to court. Or like the WBC to court, whatever.
It's
but
been
then
sanctioned.
you call yourself, don't you? You take them to court, you're never in the rankings ever again.
Like, exactly. Exactly.
This is some mafia. This is some mafia shit.
It is kind of. Yeah, it is. I hear what you're saying.
Money. All about money. And just going back to what you said, Cam, you know about Dwayne Chambers. He was taking the exact same thing I take. Modafinil was what he got.
He got done for modafinil and THC.
He took half the amount.
It was modafinil, and there was another in this lab. They produced a drug called, back then it was called the Clear, THG, because it wasn't. They called it the Clear because it was very hard to detect.
Yeah,
and that was one of it as well.
Still didn't crack 10 seconds. So I just want to put that out.
No, he did. No, he did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
No, he did.
10 seconds.
He did. His best is like 9.96 or something. Or yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
He did.
It was him and Adam Jamili, the only two British, I think.
Oh,
yeah. No, that's all he's broke it as well, and so was CJ Uja. But yeah, that's yeah, couple guys, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Reuben, you said he was taking half the amount of what you take.
Yeah, half 200 milligram.
Oh, really? It's so when all these fighters come out and say they were taking nasal sprays, and to be fair, I know it's true though.
It is, and
the thing is
different, like minor tablets, isn't it?
Yeah,
so I have 4 tablets. Like I have 2 in the morning when I wake up, 2 later. But when all these guys are having these like amphetamines and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's don't get me wrong. You've still got to put the work in.
Yeah.
But like even. Like the bit I find interesting about it is it's not just fatigue, it's the mental fatigue. You don't have that quit as much because you're not feeling as tired.
So I was asking, because obviously I know, Reuben, you train jiu-jitsu, right? Regularly, and obviously whatnot. So obviously, but you're taking this for narcolepsy and whatnot. But when you've taken it and then trained, you've naturally, I mean, you felt the effects. You
this
can
guy's
see
using
that
competition. Look at him. This guy's using it competition. When
Look
at him, he's like, "No, I didn't."
You've seen the effects. You've seen the positive effects it's had on your training and whatnot. I'm guessing. And
I sparred this morning, boxing. Right. When I wake up, I bang them, have a little coffee, wake up. 10 minutes later, it feels like I've been awake for a couple of hours.
Really?
I can think I haven't been in a couple of weeks. I can rock up and I have them tablets, and I've still got enough energy there. Like it's hard to get me not tired. It's still heavy breathing. You know, I'm not saying I'm there throwing 9 million shots, but I'm not there keeled over either. And mentally, you're a lot sharper. That's the thing I noticed. Like your reactions are quicker. Like it's not a thing I've felt. It says it. Like literally, even down to like you listen to music and it's like say it was played in another room. Yeah. Like, I can hear each individual instrument. Like
you're just locked in. Yeah,
you know, you are focused. So like, I even know when I don't take it for I don't take it every day. I'm supposed to, but I don't just because I think I want it for life. So like, I don't need to abuse it. You know, like I'm not really. I don't even take paracetamol stuff. Not because I'm scared of paracetamol. I just think like, well, I can get through that. It's a little headache. I don't need it.
Yep.
But then after a while. Like, for example, this was probably last week. I hadn't had it in a few weeks. I can feel it. My mood's altered. I'm not like, I'm waking up tired in the morning. Whereas if I have it consistently for about a week, I'm not waking up tired regardless of the time I go to bed. Like, I'm a late sleeper normally. So like I go to bed 2 anyway. Yeah. But then with narcolepsy, you're not actually sleeping.
Yeah.
Like you're consciously turned off, but like you're not. So it doesn't matter if I have 4 or 16 hours sleep. It doesn't make a difference. I feel the same. I have that. And it's a masking agent. It just doesn't let you know how your body's really feeling. That's the truth of it.
That's
it's
what Conte said.
So, it definitely would have a serious effect in a fight, especially if you've already got that grit and determination to have reached that top. Like, I haven't got that, you know, I'm not fighting for a world title, but that edge, it's a game of millimeters sometimes.
Yeah.
It really is, isn't it? And
it really is. Yep.
Where you might quit before, where you're through exhaustion, even if it gives you an extra minute, who's to say that's not a big advantage?
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree, it shouldn't really be allowed. And even in training, it's just like, well, if it makes you do 1 extra round every time you spar,
that's
you
more.
spar once a week for 10 years.
That's a lot.
The rounds you done.
Yeah.
you know, or whatever, it makes you do that 1 extra kilometer in your run, or it just makes it easier. Like I've got a really injured leg. If I take that, somehow I can complete runs. I can. Yeah. I did like a 15K. I couldn't walk afterwards, but you know, it can keep you dialed in on stuff. Like, you don't.
That's the thing, you know.
How
can Russia Suleiman say it's not an hard? What? That's ridiculous.
No, but the thing is, I think all these fighters are taking. You're always trying to push the boundaries by millimeters, like you said. You're always trying to. So if something's legal and it says it has this effect and it's legal, you're going to take it.
Facts.
You're going to take it.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Grenades.
They get grenade tablets. Yeah.
You're going to take it. So you're always going to do whatever you can to improve yourself.
We played rugby together before we got banned. Jack 3D. Remember Jack 3D?
Yeah, to be fair, all the
before that got banned. Yeah, exactly. Like all these little pre-workout little substances that are gonna obviously
whenever I play, I'm smashing pre-workout.
Yeah,
before every game. I'm smashing
brother, bro. We used to saw people do it when we played together. We see it all the time.
What's his name? That used to play, a guy called CJ. If you guys saw this guy, bro, the guy looked like Thor, just ripped to shred. He was on stuff.
Yeah,
and he was on stuff. Yeah. There was one game I saw before the game. I don't know what he took, but I just see him going red in the mirror and just shaking, and people are just leaving him alone. I said, "What the hell is this? What the hell is this?"
Anything to get a competitive advantage.
It's never going to take you from like not doing any work to doing work. But when you're, like you guys said, at that level, at that top bit, that little bit extra is going to do a lot.
It counts for a lot, man. It really does.
But yeah, this is your sport, by the way. Your sport.
But at the same time, the difference is, Reuben, you don't have a nutritional team. You don't have a manager. You don't have someone who's checking all these lists. Oscar Valdez
they knew what they
knew it was.
Exactly. They knew what they were doing. So there's no excuse to say it was herbal tea.
Nah,
Joe, that's what he said.
What's the other one I heard that people say, "Oh yeah, it was Viagra." Yeah, I took a bad Viagra.
Mexican meat, we've heard.
Mexican meat, which is very common.
Bison. It's tainted
I hate
bison.
to do it. There's a worse one. I hate to do it to my guy, but Kid G said his brother spiked his protein shake.
Yeah, it's true.
I heard about that one. Do it to the man, but that's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah.
That's a tough excuse to swallow.
He said his brother's been trying to set him up for time, and that's what he's.
Imagine that just destroyed your family.
Sorry, none of the family speak to his brother. He was on that live socials the other day of Tris Dixon, and Tris called him out on it. It was like, you've got to understand, it's a bit of a weird one for us to actually swallow and say, that happened. He's like, do you speak to him? He's like, no, not really. Like a lot.
Because you shamed him.
But as I'm going back, like I said, obviously this fight shouldn't happen, and it's peak. If this Colin Salga gets hurt, it's so long for boxing.
This is a massive liability issue that they don't realize they have. Like you said, if he knocks him out, or God forbid kills the guy, I don't think he will, but if he does, then his family can sue them into the crowd.
It really should not be going on head. It really
shouldn't be going ahead.
In any other sport, I don't have a problem with PEDs, to be honest. I actually make it legal.
Combat sports.
See the best we can, but keep it out of like. I know.
I think any combat sport, just because it's
life on the line.
People have died from this sport. So
let them do it. If they
man, take all you want. I want to see it. I actually want to see
an 8-second man.
Exactly. I want a 5-second 100 meters.
Fam. But I think I've said that before. If they can do an Olympics where everyone's on stuff, let's see how far humans can go. Let's see how far humans can take this thing. I've said that before,
The thing is, I'll be honest, everybody takes drugs. So like everybody's on stuff. Everybody's on something. I mean, it depends if you've been caught or not. It
depends if it's legal or not. Is what
I've heard theories about every single sport. There's like most 50% of professional athletes are doing stuff.
Everybody's on
basically.
Stuff. Everybody is, because if you don't do it, you're going to be left behind. So everyone's on something.
You can't beat them, you join them, right?
Think how big an industry it is, the pharmaceutical industry. If you think they can't create stuff that's hard to detect,
they change the formula.
Like, it's mad. A slight change. It's marks like TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
VADA and WADA don't test for EPO. They don't. No one does. It's really hard.
He was
just for EPO. You won't find it.
You wouldn't find.
But his main attribute, he was an absolute cardio machine.
Honestly, 5 rounds could go the whole.
Yeah, you can do anything. They say if you can run 10 kilometers, the next day after you've taken EPO, you'll be able to run 20. It's as simple as that.
It's crazy.
It's wild. Like it reoxygenates your blood and stuff. It's mad.
You know as well, I can't believe the WC said, because he hasn't tested negative and positive in the past, he's done so many. These lot said he's done so many tests before and not tested positive, so we're going to give him a bye this time. Do you know how insane that is?
So we'll allow him.
But yeah,
what's fell like 5-6 times?
It's ridiculous.
Oh man.
He's angry.
You know what makes it even more, and obviously this week's been a sad week for boxing. Because
yes. Quickly. Obviously, a lady called Jeanette Zacharias Zapata. She's a Mexican boxer. At 18, died the other day. She suffered a knockout in her fight. Obviously, she got knocked out, was hospitalized, and I think she had a seizure. I think when she took the shot.
Mad.
Took her to hospital, and she died on Saturday or Friday. So really, really sad death that's happened, and it's these things always seem to coincide. Flows like you see someone die, and then you see some rubbish like this. So yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. The sport is it's tough. Like if this coincide guy gets hurt, badly hurt or whatever, or
ban the sport. If he gets hurt, but
boxing might go back on the ground. Like it's bad.
Nice peak. It's peak.
What for you guys? I'm always familiar with MMA and whatnot. I'm guessing that it's obviously has to be. It's a combat sport, so I'm guessing that the testing is very stringent and it's not. I mean,
because I'll give you an example. So
yeah, go on.
So you see with John Jones, arguably the biggest fighter in the UFC.
Your GOAT, yeah.
Yeah, he's not on drugs, but with him, like he's tested positive
his was
times.
What, cocaine and also PEDs, right? He's done.
I don't think did he get popped for PEDs? I think he got popped for PEDs.
A little picogram.
Yeah. It was when he was fighting DC. Anyway, he just keeps popping, but they keep suspending the guy, and he's arguably one of the biggest draws.
No, not. He's not.
Not anymore. I don't think.
So he's never or rarely ever sold over 500,000 bottles.
Really? John Jones.
Yeah, he's a savage. He's one of the best. He's definitely the best ever fighters.
Or break a knee.
Draw, I think he's just annoyed the fans too much.
Is it because we don't like him? Okay. So.
Yeah, because even too many times by him. Yeah. It's like, man, come on,
bro.
You've ran a pregnant lady over, like
it's mad.
You've been walking around your garden with a gun or something.
Yeah.
Port coke, Viagra, picogram, this, that,
the other.
Even the UFC, like I wouldn't. If I was the UFC, I'd be thinking, can we even be bothered to spend £1 more on this guy because his fights keep getting pulled.
Yeah.
All this marketing, and then there's no John Jones fight.
That's the problem. I agree. That's the issue with John Jones. He used to be my favorite fighter, and I just got to a point. I was like, it's when he beat DC and then popped. I was like, F off. Like, come on. You don't need to take. He's one person that doesn't need to take any PEDs.
He might heavyweight though. I think he's not.
He's gonna go heavy. Yeah, he's gonna slap on a little weight.
Sluggish, isn't it?
Oh, he'll get knocked out by Francis or what's this guy's name? Was he the French brother? What's his name?
Oh, the boy who.
Apparently he's all right.
Yeah.
And he's okay, but I don't care about John Jones. He can fuck off. Fuck off.
But overall, they're pretty hardline with the drug testing in UFC. I'm guessing. And
also, you have to remember with MMA, it's kind of it's been very hard for them to kind of get it legalized in a lot of states, so they have to actually follow the rules.
Right. Lesnar fights.
So we say.
Unless when Brock Lesnar fights.
He's the only person that's allowed PEDs.
So they've actually let him fight. He's on it. He's tested.
He got away with it.
He signed. It's like, cool, come in.
Because see with him when he left,
all our sports in the
he's left the UFC and he's gone back to.
So you're with us. Cool. All right, cool.
Well, a little bit. No, it's only because it's Brock Lesnar in it, and he's obviously on steroids.
That's cool then.
He's obviously on steroids. Like everybody knows it. Like it's not even an open secret. He just
is. To the gills. Have you seen it? It's outrageous. He's flying, man. He's on so much.
The thing is about we even understand with the steroids, you need when you use it over a long period of time, even if you're not like fighting. So he was out of the competition testing because he was in the WWE flipping people around. Yeah. So he was obviously on steads. Then when he's stopped taking it to go back into the UFC, obviously you're not taking it, but the gains that you've had for the last year and a bit, pumping yourself full of X, Y, and Z, you're still going to be built like Zeus. Yeah. So he's just, I don't know. Yeah. He's a shit fighter though.
Wood in the mud.
Yeah, he's
poor. It's poor. But this fight shouldn't be going ahead, and it looks like at this stage it's going ahead. Absolute ridiculous decision. I just hope no one gets hurt. I hope Conceição doesn't get hurt. And if Conceição loses, I don't know what he's going to want to choose to do, because I feel like they should demand an immediate rematch. Like, they should have a clause now to get this rematch, because my man's coming in with an unfair advantage, however you want to look at it, regardless. So it's ridiculous to me. But yeah, just another example of why boxing can be so frustrating. And as we know, it's all about the money. Money, it's a business. All these people care about the money, and certain fighters will get favored. We know.
That's why the best don't fight the best. Who am I to speak?
You're still going on about that, yeah? Don't worry, the best are fighting the best. Canelo's bringing it home. Don't worry about that.
What, Canelo Joshua?
Even Canelo, even though we said it before, his Mexican meat scandal, we know if that was any other fighter, Flores, they're giving them the big slap on the wrist. But as it was Canelo, they just gave him a little
You ain't
tap.
got no big fighters, bro. So you gotta keep him going.
Yeah, it's Canelo. Certain man get favored, man. It's ridiculous. But yeah, let's leave it there. It's been quite an enjoyable, quite an explosive episode. Once again, Jides, Reuben, thanks for coming through. Obviously, yeah, just before we round up, if you want to plug you lot socials, where can the listeners find you, Jides?
Insta, Twitter, Jides Inside.
Cool.
And yeah, if anyone wants to come down to Essex, I'm DJing on the 18th. So if you want to come and unce with the man, them, shout me.
I'm gonna cut that part out. I'm joking. Reuben. Yeah. Where can the listeners find you on socials, bro?
Basically, just Instagram. It's the only one I really use. It's Reuben BB. You know, the Facebook.
Well, you say the face of boxing. I thought you were the face of jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Well, the face of
both. Right.
I'm king.
To be fair, you call yourself the combat sports specialist, I swear. So yeah, it's cool. We like that. All right, cool. But yeah, episode 54, SZN Podcast. Thanks for joining us, guys. I've been your boy Cam.
I'm your boy Flows.
And thanks for keeping it locked. Peace.
I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.